The best place for sunrise. Just open up your door to breathe in the sunshine. Sing with us on the porch.
Today is January 16th, 2016. Joining us on the porch are John Samson, Michael Bolio, and the cast of The Mating Game.
The best place for family. What are you waiting for? Where friendships run deeper. Come join us on the porch. So glad you're on the porch.
Man, you guessed it. You've gone a whole week, but you're back for another exciting episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. As I was sitting back in the green room, getting myself ready, preparing for the show, my oldest offspring came in and started telling me about an egg that he was asked to carry around school today. I asked him if it was his, and we sat down and had a really wonderful heart-to-heart, father-to-son about this egg that a young woman had asked him to carry around school. You're grounded for at least a week. Anyway, as it's not spring, it was a little bit difficult for him to understand the true purpose of birds and bees, but I decided that we would continue the conversation, which brought us to some of tonight's guests. Not only is John Samson in the house, but how much more appropriate could it be that the cast of The Mating Game is here for the show this evening. Yeah, it is. It is nice. I mean, how am I supposed to have the words? How am I supposed to describe what an incredible time we've had already, and we just started recording a few minutes ago? Sit back, grab your favorite drinks, and enjoy the next 4 hours as we journey through many, many possible scenarios. Hopefully, on the other end, which will find a more educated 15-year-old and a well-developed cast for a local theater, just trying to entertain and educate some folks in central New York. But until then, John Samson, you, sir, are on the porch.
I was walking out the door for you. I was holding up my eyes to you. Wasn't much I could do for you, but I gave everything I had to you. Kissed your eyes in the morning. You said it'd be enough for you. You won't find me by the evening. I'm trying to light the fire within you. I miss you by a year or so, cold beneath the rotten stone, covered in the shade of home, trial by the sun alone, 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 alone. I was buckling my seatbelt, saying a secret prayer for you. You get lost in the darkness. I'm trying to light the fire with let me through, let me through, let me break free from what's been keeping me from you. Let me through, let me through, let me break free from what's been keeping me from you. I miss you by a year or so, more beneath the writing stone, covered in the shade of home, trial by the sun alone. I miss you by a year or so. I'm cold beneath the rotten stone, covered in the shade of home, trial by the sun alone.
I really don't know much about the mating game, which is why I have the cast here on the show. Because after 4 children, we'll edit that part out. I am going to admit on the air that I'm ill prepared for tonight's episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. Please don't give our sponsors any backlash. Continue to watch the show and enjoy it. I only know part of the cast's names that are here. So instead of embarrassing myself further, I'll just have everybody introduce themselves so that people don't know which names I know and which ones I don't. So on the show tonight, we have the cast from Fulton Community Theater's production of The Mating Game. So who's here?
Michael Bolio. I've been given the privilege of directing this particular production.
Awesome.
Donald Crow, and I am playing Dracot Harris.
Jessica Tetro, and I'm playing Julia Carrington.
Valerie Roscoe Diedick, and I'm playing Honey Tooks.
Honey what? I am Michael King, and I'm playing James Harris.
All right. So give us all a rundown of the mating game. Give us a
The mating game
synopsis.
is the story of the popular and wonderful Dracot Harris, who is the host of a talk show in New York City. Dracot is considered to be one of the most eligible bachelors in all of television land, and regularly is seen with various and sundry women. The problem is that Dracot isn't what he seems to be. You'll have to come see the show to find out what Dracot really is.
I sure will. Okay, so what's the time era? When's it set?
Actually, we're setting it in the modern day.
Oh, cool.
We're setting it in the modern day.
Okay.
It takes place. The whole thing takes place in a penthouse apartment on Park Ave.
Mm-hmm.
Dracot's penthouse apartment, very gadgety, very trendy apartment. I'll let Dracot tell you about that.
Yeah, hook us up.
A nice penthouse apartment in Manhattan. And as he said, I have a lot of modern age technology that caused me some trouble and headache throughout the show that people tend to use against me. And it's just a fun show.
Awesome. What kind of a talk show is it? Like a night, is it a late night show?
Yeah, it's like a actually it's not. It's we go on at 8 p.m. apparently, but it's a celebrity talk show. Like I just have celebrity guests all around from.
Like Mike Douglas used to do years ago.
Yeah.
Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, that.
Yeah, like on the porch. That's
Yeah,
what I'm talking
exactly,
about.
just like this.
Yeah, we have.
In fact, you should have went out for Dracot.
Nope. Nope. I think you're gonna do a fine job. Fine job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Is this the whole cast then?
we're short one person. Beverly Poznowski plays the role of Mrs. Finney, the housekeeper.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight. But
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
All of us are short, but we're only missing one person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be the one to say it. Where is this production taking place? What's
we
the
will
theater?
be at Tavern on the Lock
Oh, nice.
in right in beautiful downtown Fulton, New York.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a beautiful downtown Fulton.
There sure is.
And there is food.
Well, that was my next question. Is it is it considered dinner theater? Or?
It is dinner theater, yeah.
Okay.
It does deal with some mature content, so we're warning those that might be easily offended. If you come and are easily offended, you could very well be.
Mm-hmm. So just drink a couple
However,
extra.
if you're not easily offended, you're going to get a laugh or
Awesome.
two.
Cool.
Or more.
Or more. Sure. And when is this taking place? When do we start?
We open the first Friday in February.
First Friday in February. Is that the only night then?
No. We
Oh.
open then. We're
We
running
open then. All right.
2 weekends, and we will close on Valentine's Day.
Oh, come on. It's perfect. It's perfect. So there's going to be 4 shows, 6 shows?
6 shows.
6 shows.
6 shows. The Fridays and Saturdays, dinner will be at 6. The show will be at 7:30,
Okay.
and on Sundays, dinner will be at 12:30, and the show at 2.
All right. You twisted my arm. I'll go. There will be at least one person in the crowd that day.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, all by myself. I'll sit at the table, and I will make sure I'm not easily offended by having several drinks in front of me, and it'll be fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I won't heckle too bad. Have you ever done dinner theater before?
Many times.
Yeah. So have you been heckled? Like, did
Many
people try
times.
to? Yeah. Yeah, man.
We encourage it.
Okay. Well, that was going to be my question. Like, is there some interaction with the crowd that
There's
happens?
nothing better than interactive theater.
Cool. Yeah, I would agree with that. I haven't been in interactive theater. Now, how does that work? I won't go there.
But if you are easily offended, come sit right up front.
Yeah.
Where we make certain you are
I
offended.
might end up in your lap at one point. So.
Oh, then I'm not even sitting at a table. I will give you a I'll have a target painted on my lap with your
Might not have
name.
much fun either. So.
All right, Don Crow. This is awesome. How long have you guys been rehearsing?
Probably, actually, only for the last couple weeks.
Okay. So
We've
so
still
you've got about a
couple
month,
weeks in
or
front of
no,
us
you
to-
know, just a
to
couple
finalize
weeks.
it and get it together. And they're doing a fantastic job on that.
No doubt, no doubt. Are you guys doing your own costumes?
Yes,
Awesome.
or lack thereof.
You look good. You look. I'm glad you wore that because I'm coming to see. I want to see him in that again. I like it. Awesome. Well, okay. So give us the skinny real quick again. So it's gonna be at Tavern on the Lock. Starts February
5th.
Friday, February
6th and
5th.
7th on the first weekend.
Okay.
And the 12th, 13th, and 14th the second weekend.
Okay.
At Tavern on the Lock. Reservations are highly recommended.
Okay.
Our last couple years of doing a dinner theater over Valentine's Day weekend, we've had sellout crowds on Valentine's Day weekend.
Okay.
So if you want to come see it, make certain you get your reservation in now.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do we go to get reservations?
Actually, you can call Tavern on the Lock.
Okay.
They take care of all the reservations for us, and they'll make certain you get a table.
Excellent. And is there a different pricing scheme? So if I want to go for dinner and the show, or if
if you just want to see the show, I believe we do offer a show only ticket now. I believe the price is $12. But I do know that dinner will be $27.
Okay.
And $25 for seniors.
Okay.
Seniors and students.
Nice.
So.
That's great. Thanks so much.
And
So
the food is fantastic. Please you come and enjoy a great meal and
so is the beer.
A very funny show.
yeah. That's a good joint down there. I like it at the Lock. So I will be I'll be there, and I'll probably be sticking around because usually after a show I go to the Lock.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'll just walk up the stairs. Yeah. So the cast will be hanging out for a little bit, and you can chat with them and have a good show, have a good meal, have a great time. thanks so much for being on the porch.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. And we will, I don't know, I'll probably be heckling you during the show just to get you prepared. Does that work?
Good.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for being on the
Thank
porch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Tonight's episode of On the Porch Radio Hour is brought to you by Friends. That's right. From the company that created late night talks, kept secrets, and inside jokes, brings you their newest innovation, peer pressure. What? Don't look at me like that. Every other host has a sponsor. Why shouldn't I? You'd probably be happier if you had a sponsor. Why don't you? What? Oh, are you too good for a sponsor? Oh, it's that you've tried and sponsors don't think you're good enough. Oh, come on, I'm just playing. Try one. Just one little sponsor. If it doesn't work for you, then I'll never bring it up again. Well, as you can see, Friends have had an incredible influence on me. Why, just go to their website or call their toll-free number and see what Friends can do for you. You'll be amazed by all of the beautiful testimonies by the millions of others who have tried Friends. If you call within the next 10 minutes, not only will you get Friends, but they'll throw in a 60-day free trial of their newest Click package. You'll get Friends and 60 days of exclusive group no one else is allowed to be part of, and they get talked down to for trying. So love yourself, get Friends. You're listening to On the Porch Radio Hour. We'll be back after these words.
This is what's happening in Central New York. The Oswego Music Hall welcomes the Ready Well Band with John McConnell opening on January 23rd and the Sultans of String on February 6th. The Music Hall also hosts an open mic on January 22nd and February 5th, as well as The Hook, featuring Gavin Bell with Evan Segroy, Donna Colton with Sam Patarelli, and the Garofalo Brothers on February 12th. Visit OswegoMusicHall.org for more information. The Collette Theater and Conference Center is hosting an evening with Grammy Award-winning songwriter Mark Cohn on Friday, March 18th, as well as upcoming screenings of Straight Outta Compton, Hotel Transylvania 2, and The Breakfast Club. To find out about these and other events at the theater or to purchase tickets, visit ColetteTheater.com or call 315-298-0007. The Collette Theater is also participating in the Salmon River Winter Festival, offering special free movie screenings throughout the weekend, and hosting the John Glenn Band on Friday, January 29th. The event runs from January 29th through the 31st and also features wing, chili, and snow sculpture contests. For more information, visit Oswego County Winter Carnival on Facebook. The CNY Playhouse production of Move Over Mrs. Markham runs through January 23rd. Visit cnyplayhouse.com for more information. Fulton Community Theater presents The Mating Game from February 5th through the 14th at Tavern on the Lock. Visit fultoncommunitytheater.org or call 315-592-2661 for more information. Rob Orioli will present a concert at the Lodge at Kellish Hill Farm tonight at 7 p.m. Lakeside Artisans in Oswego offers a paint night on February 8th and March 14th at 7 p.m. For more information, call 315-342-8880. Fireball 2 is planned for January 30th with live music, pizza buffet, DJ dance party, prizes, and more. The proceeds of the Fireball support Warm Up Oswego. Tickets may be purchased at Mother Earth Baby, Port City Co-op, and Port City Copy Center in Oswego. Warm Up Oswego will be held on February 6th of this year. There will be raffles, vendors, contests, and live performances all day. Visit warmuposwegofestival.com for more information. The CNY Arts Center presents a night at the Tonys as part of the 2016 Dessert Theater Series. The first event will be held February 13th. The Art Center is also currently hosting an exhibit by painter Linda Flynn. For more information about these, as well as other projects and events at the Art Center, visit cnyartcenter.com. The Wooden Apple Farmstead is the home of Red Room Sessions, a time for songwriters, musicians, and anyone else who wants to build their musical skill and knowledge to get together. We share songs we are working on, bounce musical ideas off each other, and we usually have time to just play a little music. This is a supportive environment where all levels of songwriting and musical experience are welcome. The next session is January 31st at 6 p.m. For more information about Red Room Sessions or other events and projects, visit Wooden Apple Farmstead on Facebook or call 315-591-0711.
Circa 2005, I first met a good friend now, John Samson, who we finally tracked down and dragged to the Wooden Apple Farmstead. John, welcome to the porch.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it is. I'm so glad to have you here.
Me too.
So we actually first met John when we were doing a music thing at Camp Hollis. It was called Inventing Sound, and it was really cool.
Project X.
It was, yeah. We were doing Project X stuff, and John Samson was there, and we went down to the lake shore and we gathered all sorts of stuff. Remember, we found a leg, like a mannequin leg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we found all sorts of stuff, and we built our own instruments, and we brought our recording equipment, and we made some CDs.
We went out in the woods behind that big scaffold you used to be able to climb.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone got poison ivy except me, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
My parents would be like, "What'd you do?" And I'd say I played music with sticks.
Yep.
And they said, "Oh." And then, do you want to go back again? And I'm like, yeah.
Duh.
Did you not hear me? I was playing music with sticks, Mom. Okay, with sticks.
Yeah, they were sticks.
No, it was great.
That was cool. And John wrote a song called "House in the Sky." I think that's what it was called.
If you guys literally still have that CD, then we need to listen to it sometime.
We do, yeah. We have a I could probably go locate one. We've got a box in the basement.
We'll be right back. We got to dig through some boxes.
We got to dig through some Inventing Sound CDs.
I wrote a lot of songs back then. It was just, we didn't know which ones we wanted to put on the album.
Right. Yeah, it was
I was
quite
like
a
12,
debate.
13, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it helped me, find friends and, all that.
Yeah. It's awesome. It was so cool.
You played music in the woods with sticks? Yeah. Come on, man. You can hang out with us.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
That's how that works.
That's exactly how that went down. And we spent the night there and we played cards and it was cool. We had a good time. And so I think ever since then, I mean, not that I want to put myself out there like this, but we may have inspired something magical here.
No, yeah. And I became a camp counselor. Well, not a camp counselor. I ended up working at a summer camp for a couple of years, too.
That is cool.
Unirondack. I was on Kitchen 1 staff, and this past year I was on crew. So not only did it help with, the music and, opening that up, but it was, I really liked the whole camp counseling kind of, scene, or, the camp scene in general, just summer camp.
Yeah.
It was great.
Good for you. Did you take your guitar with you?
Yeah, they won't let me come without it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, now, yeah, you go to this place and then all the kids are way better than you, so it's fun. It's discouraging. No, I'm just kidding. No, but everyone's so talented out at any place you can get that many kids together and in a place where they're allowed to grow and do what they want to do. Yeah, it's really fun.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm traveling back in time, being you guys.
Yeah.
You and Gina.
Yeah.
You, Gina, Renee, John. The whole gang.
Yeah, the whole gang.
I see John all the time.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's good times. We're going to have to hang out.
You and me? I'm still waiting to get tattooed by you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, now that you're here.
Now that I'm, old enough and here.
Yeah, it's legal. It's pretty cool.
Ask my mom. She said, yeah.
Wait, you played in the woods with sticks, and now you're going to let this guy in?
Wait, the guy that let you play in the woods with the sticks, right? I remember specifically it was sticks.
Yes, Mom.
Yeah.
He's not using those sticks anymore.
And I ran into you at a art show. I remember my friend's art show. I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the tree on your hand. I really liked it. I wanted to get something.
That's
I
right.
only have one tattoo now. It's a Big Dipper, but it's just the dots, so it just looks like I have blue moles on the side of my body.
That's awesome.
They're not connected or anything. It's just the dots.
That's awesome.
You can't notice.
Yeah.
When my arm's down, you don't know.
No idea.
There's
No
no
idea that you have Ursa Major on your rib cage. That's incredible.
Almost got minor.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah, man.
I have to overcompensate. You guys invited me. For the record.
Yeah. Just to put that down. We're getting the yellow plate. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. All right, we'll keep going. So anyway, John, you've been traveling and performing at all sorts of places and doing music things. So catch us up, man.
Okay. I'd been playing music for a few years, and then I started playing more in town, and we can edit all the long pauses I take, right?
Oh yeah.
I'd been playing. Well, I played drums forever, and that was like my first instrument that I did. Headaches, and I did that for a long time. I played at church. I played for church until I was about 18, and then started doing kind of like my own thing, trying to find it and try and learn how to not sound, like an obnoxious like kid, and try and like learn how to play music for real and learn guitar. And just like the past few years have I actually been playing out, trying to write songs, and everybody's kind of been like on my case about it for years, like you can do this, like you should do this, like do this. And a lot of it's like annoying, a lot of it's really like inspiring, a lot of it is kind of just like I know, but only until like the past couple of years did I say like I want to start writing my own music and taking it more seriously, and kind of like showing the people that were pushing me about it and had that vision that I can do it, not for that purpose, but I mean I don't know, I just meant it's cool for them to actually see that and be like, I told you, like you could do that. And I haven't really gone anywhere. I play Old City Hall, like like I live there, like we all live there. So I play mostly in town. I've played like here and there in Syracuse or Rochester. I played with a reggae band. I played drums for a reggae band for a couple years.
All right.
For a long time. People think that's really funny. Like at the bar, I'll try and play my music, which is kind of like slow and like kind of supposed to be like pretty.
You're right.
Kind of supposed to be a little pretty.
Right.
But I'll be playing at the bar, so I'll have to play a lot of bar music. So I end up playing a lot of reggae songs.
Yeah.
As you all know. So it's cool, but then when I'm trying to play like my music, it's kind of like folky, so it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But I've been playing at the bar like throughout Oswego for the past couple of years mostly.
That's
so, yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it's a tough gig to try to break through that, because you're when you're in the bar scene, you're playing a lot and you're getting a lot of exposure, but people want to hear stuff they know.
Yeah, it's a whole different image. It's like you're not playing you or to the people, you're playing to the bar. It's like and that's different because only now I'm starting to like try and book gigs and do things where people want to hear me and come to hear like actual like singer-songwriter stuff. And so yeah, it's hard dissecting like bar life from getting on the road. And I'm trying to like make the big move. Now I'm moving to Colorado soon in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the years of all like the pushing was kind of like, all right, now is the perfect time to finally just like dive into it. I'm making a big move. I'm going to be like exposed. I'm like, alone. I might as well just like put my like time into that,
Yeah. That's awesome. Good for you.
If it all works out.
It will.
Yeah.
It will, because you
hopefully.
make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I've been really lazy up until this year. I'm trying to like 2016.
Attaboy.
We could do it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
man.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Do it. It's cool. And so was that first song?
That was an original.
That was an original. Awesome.
I wrote that at camp. A lot of things happened this year at camp, and camp's amazing, but I was going through a lot of really like just really adult life stuff that was finally like love and losing love and just like moving on and money and all these things. And I kind of came back from camp saying I want to focus on writing songs, getting all my ducks in a row like before I move, and save money. And kind of none of those things happened. I I was like down in a rut for a little while, and I kind of was just being lazy, but I'm trying to like pick up my stuff back again before the move, and I'm starting to like spend more time just doing what I should have been doing for a while, which is just like writing songs and getting into it and trying to do my own thing.
Cool.
So I'm trying to like fast forward that all into the next couple weeks. I wish I did it this year, you know, when I got home from the summer, but it wasn't happening. So this move's kind of like a fresh start for me.
Cool. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
So do you have another original for us?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Do it, man. John Samson.
Found something in the Garden of Eden. Held your hand tight while I was sleeping. But I'm a ghost and I'm rarely leaving. If by the morning light should take you in that pleasant dream I made you. It was a chance just for me to replace you. But in the morning I will follow you down, even when the sacred silence surrounds you. There's one thing I know, that it'll all be fine. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind. I was walking in the shadows of your ministry, just to feel the riptide, the colors you're mending. Palace down to be held in your memory. And I was thinking, you held me like the flame when I was resting, dimly lit and almost always passing in the quiet dusk of your waters, everlasting you. But in the morning I will follow you down, even when the sacred silence surrounds you. There's one thing I know, that it'll all be fine. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind. You will make up your mind. Make up your mind. Oh, in the dark, when it's time, you will make up your mind.
Thank you.
Hey, John, what do you think about playing a song with our music director, Gina?
I don't really know her that well, so that'd be kind of weird for me.
Okay, well, you better get into it because she's here.
We better get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Gina decided on the song like right when I got here, because I was like, I don't know which song like to do together. I don't know, because I was like, I don't know. I can't think of stuff like that very easily.
It's okay. We figured it out about an hour. It's fun to do this because that's often how it goes.
You know, it's fine.
That's often how it goes. So we're going to sing Redemption Song.
Oh, pirates, yes, they robbed by, sold her to the merchant ships. Many days after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We look forward in this generation, triumphantly. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. No one but ourselves can free our minds.
Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time.
How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look?
Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs. 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs.
I can't remember. Winged it.
You're a tired little boy who desires nothing more than to be fully free of this billowing storm, to see life take the forms of your castles of sand before tide reaches out with her hand. You called me to tell me that nothing was wrong. Then you hung up the phone and you cried until dawn. Then you prayed that the sunlight would carry away all the shadows that walk through your brain. And we all go to to the water, to be washed from the pain, to be carried away, to see beauty and majesty wrapped into one. Let our bitter souls melt in the sun. Light-a-di-di. It was late in the summer at the fading of day when I waited till dawn to be carried away. By the time that I saw you, my heart had been spent, and away to the harbor I went. And we all go to the water to be washed from the pain, to be carried away, to see beauty and majesty wrapped into one. Let our bitter souls melt in the sun. Light-a-di-di. There's a flower in the meadow that catches my eye as I walk through the fields of barley and rye. It reminds me of holding you under the stars in my little world wrapped in your arms. And we all go to the water to be washed from the pain, to be carried away, to see beauty and majesty wrapped into one. Let our bitter souls melt in the sun. And we all go to the water to be washed from the pain, to be carried away, to see beauty and majesty wrapped into one. Let our bitter souls melt in the sun. Light-a-di-di, 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 light-a-di-di.
Gina Holsopple, on the Porch Radio Hour's music director. On March 21st, 2010, Crafty made a public announcement that he would be closing his barbershop after 50 years of cutting hair in Tonkahogen. He was hanging up his scissors and shears, putting away all of his barbicide-soaked combs, and he was headed out. Well, out of his shop. He wasn't going to leave Tonkahogen, but it was time for him to retire and enjoy the years that he had left, hanging with the grandkids, meeting some folks at, well, I guess, another barber shop, having coffee, hanging out, talking about the weather, and enjoying life. When the local paper heard that Crafty was closing down, they sat down with him in his barber shop after hours and drank some coffee and talked about the weather and had a lengthy interview. And as they were going on, there was one of those long pauses. The long pause that's often associated with a wise man as he remembers the first time he learned a life lesson and he was about to give it to somebody else. He had that long distance stare. He had a big smile on his face, and he started to tell a story about my great-grandfather and how Bernie was in the barber shop one day after running some numbers and having a few drinks at the bar. He'd always come in and sit down in the barber shop whether he needed a haircut or not. But it was a beautiful summer day, and he said, "I'll never forget. I had opened the door. I'd propped it open with this old wooden triangle that I'd cut when I first opened the shop. And I always hung it next to the door, and I decided that we needed to have the door open that day. And so I opened the door, and as I watched this one little clump of hair slowly drift across the floor, like a tumbleweed almost, I remember smiling and looking up and seeing Bernie walk in and have a seat. We started talking about the day, talking about the weather, all the things you do, all the things we always did. Then we heard some commotion outside. And in a flash, Bernie jumped up, kicked the triangle out from under the door, and dove on the floor. I had no idea what was going on until I realized that Bernie wasn't alone on the floor, but was on top of this big white mass. And he was wrestling around, and there was all sorts of weird noises. And Bernie looked up at me with this large stare in his eye, just as that white mass made it out from under him. And a big long scream that I still to this day don't know if it came out of Bernie or out of that white mass. Well, shoot. I never thought about it till just now, but that long scream, I think, probably came out of me. Because Bernie looked at me with that wild stare in his eye, and I realized that as it streaked from the floor to me, that white mass was a sheep. I don't know how a sheep got out in the middle of the streets in Tonkahogan, and I sure as hell don't know how that sheep ended up in my barber shop. And I'll never be able to know why it was that Bernie decided to shut the door and keep that sheep in there. But I screamed, and that sheep ran in circles, and there was a young woman. I'm assuming it was a young woman that owned the sheep, but she came walking into that barber shop like she was just as cool as a cucumber, wanted to sit down and get herself a haircut, and she just reached her hand up. Like she was some kind of backup singer for a group and just stuck her hip out, put her hand out, and yelled, "Stop!" And that sheep came to a skidding halt right on my tile floor. It just slid and then just stood there. And Bernie reached out with his hand in the same kind of motion, but instead of yelling stop, he yelled shears. And I ran over. I didn't know what I was doing, and Bernie grabbed the sheep around the head and lifted up its front legs and sat him right on his back legs. I later found out from that young woman that what Bernie did was called a classic rumping of a sheep. That's when you pick them up and you set them on their back end and they don't move, they just sit there. And Bernie proceeded to try to shear the sheep with my barber clippers. And the young lady just stood there and watched. And Bernie went to work. And after the sheep headbutted him a couple times, Bernie decided to stop. But he did get one nice little white patch of wool. And he stuck it in his pocket. And for days I tried to get that sheep wool out of my shears, but I never could. So I hung them on the wall right next to that wooden triangle. And then he pointed over to the door. And sure enough, what looked like what may have been the first barber clippers ever invented hanging next to a really old beat-up wooden triangle. That was probably one of the best days of my life. Crafty sipped on his coffee as he remembered. He talked about how that young lady and Bernie and himself decided to close the barbershop early, and they went out to the diner and they had cheeseburgers, and the young lady tied the sheep with the one little bald spot to the bumper of a car out in the parking lot. She said it would be fine because she knew that it was the main cook's car and he'd never know because he was cooking the burgers. So we left the sheep there. And then we all helped her walk the sheep home. And it just followed behind like a little dog. And she loved it. So for years after that, every once in a while, that young lady would walk her sheep down the street. And I'd let her stand outside the barber shop and tell everybody the story. And it just got bigger and bigger every year. And eventually she went away to college. And when she graduated, she came back. When she came back, she was walking a black sheep. Well, I guess the reality of that set in, but there was some shock there for a minute. I guess I just always assumed that that white sheep that she walked to my barbershop for years was just the same sheep. I'm guessing it wasn't, though. But this time it was this beautiful black sheep, and she just stood there outside the barbershop, I brought her out a chair, and she sat there and talked to people as they walked by. And every once in a while, she'd tie the sheep to the fire hydrant, and she'd come in, and we'd have a cup of coffee. And, you know, she never let me cut her hair. I always tried, and she always told me to take those old clippers off the wall and try to shear the sheep that was outside, but I never wanted that. Not after what I saw what that sheep did to Bernie. Nope. Things were pretty tame other than that sheep. Did anybody ever famous come in here? Well, I guess I don't know. They could have. There was that old cowboy singer that showed up here once whose wagon lost a wheel and he was stranded here for a few days. Do you remember that guy? I guess he wasn't famous when he came in, but after he wrote that song about that, he was a pretty big deal. But he wasn't a big deal then. So I don't have a headshot or a signature or anything of his hanging on the wall like I probably should. Oh, but I bet he tells people all the time about how he was in here. I'm sure that him hanging out in this barbershop, well, other than the wagon wheel getting lost, it was probably the most inspirational time he had here in Tonkahogen, and I'd like to take credit for that. And Crafty laughed. Then he offered me another cup of coffee. I decided that I had taken enough of his time, but Crafty didn't want me to go. He asked if I could be his last haircut. So I said, sure. Do whatever you like. And he hooked me up with this real nice grease kind of looking haircut. And you know, I got home and I didn't want to touch it. And of course, when I got up the next morning, I tried to comb it the same way that he did. He even gave me some of that really fancy barber oil that he used. But I never could get it quite right. So here I am writing this article with what was a really good haircut yesterday, but is now just I don't know, just an attempt. Like I'm assuming everything else will be now that Crafty's moved on and we'll have to find another barber to take his place. I'm assuming that most things that happen in the barbershop world around here for a few years will just be an attempt. Because the barbershop that Crafty ran wasn't just a place to get your hair cut, it was a place to hang out. It was a community center. It was a place where people went and shared their stories and shared their lives and their sheep and everything else. Everything that walked through that door was a friend to Crafty, and Crafty was a friend to them. And I know that I'll sit in one of those fancy salon chairs someday, and they'll lean me back into that sink with the really nice cutout, that comfortable rounded edge for my neck to rest on, while that woman with the extra long fingernails vigorously scratches my scalp while she washes my hair. I guess that's the one thing Crafty never could do. You just can't get a good hair washing like that. Not by Crafty. He chewed his nails. And he didn't wear a low enough V-neck for me either. And I guess that's why we go to those salons, isn't it? But the next time I'm leaned back in one of those chairs, and the woman washing my hair is trying to ask me questions and is honestly expecting me to answer while she scrubs my head, there's one thing I won't be doing. And it's one of those things that I would do and will do every time I think about people like Crafty and people that do all of the things that they do here in Tonkahogen. And that's sing our song. Because this truly is my home. It's my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Hey, man, you did it. You made it to the end of another episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. And I would just like to point out that just in case you heard that big crash there in the end of my really fantastic song, don't worry. That was just me getting rocked gently in the arms of Eden. I hope you continue to join us on the porch because it really is an adventure every week, and I'm so glad that we have people like the folks that stay at home and watch us live on Concert Window. Thanks for being here. And I want to thank everybody else that sits at home and listens to our archives. Our archives. Aye, aye, aye. Our archives. At www.ontheporch.weebly.com because that's where you can find all of our shows. I think this was number 49. No, it was number 44. Oh, I was almost excited. I was like 50. Oh my gosh. Crafty's Barbershop was open for 50 years. But no. Okay. I'll get excited another time. I want to thank everybody that comes out to sit in the kitchen or wherever we're recording, to listen to the show live, to be here in person. I want to thank all of our guests from The Mating Game. Thanks for being on the porch. And I want to thank John Samson for coming to be one of his last stops before he heads out west to, I don't know what the state, I know it's Colorado, but I don't know what the, like we're the Empire State, and they're like the Rocky State. So as you cross the border into Colorado, roll your window down. I don't care how cold it is because you're going to hear, Adrian, because it is officially the Rocky State. We're going to, yeah, man. So I'll move on next week. Hey, come back next week because On the Porch Radio Hour is going to have the Child Advocacy Center. We're going to have the Child Advocacy Center, and we're going to have Oswego Expeditions. But hold on. There's more. February 4th, we're not going to have a show. Because the following Saturday, the 6th of February, we're going to be at Warm Up Oswego. Yeah, live, Saturday, February 6th. Be there. We're recording at 11:30 a.m. It's going to be awesome. And then, on March 10th, we're leaving the farm again. We've gotten permission from our parole officers to once again leave the property, kick the ankle bracelets off, and end up at the CNY Arts Center. So March 10th, you'll want to be at that show too. Man, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I want to thank everybody for their support because On the Porch Radio Hour wouldn't be much without you. So thanks for being here. And we'll see you next week. And until then, peace to your journey.
On the Porch is a production of the Wood and Apple Farmstead with host and writer Matthew Wood. Our musical director is Gina Holsopple. Our stage manager is Ray Monet. Our sound technician is Maxwell Wood. This week's show is recorded live at Wood and Apple Farmstead in Palermo, New York. This week's guests are musician John Samson and Fulton Community Theater's Michael Bolio and the cast of The Mating Game. Find information about past shows, being on the porch, and much more online at ontheporch.weebly.com.